Hi, I'm Hermine Hartman with NDIGO Studio. Guess who's joining us in the living room today? You may not know him, but you definitely should. Because in January of 2021, Emanuel Chris Welch became the 70th Speaker of the Illinois House of Representatives. He made history, first African American to hold the position. He is a powerhouse, a graduate of Proviso West High School, Northwestern University, and the John Marshall Law School. Now, he came into education by way of education. He went back to his school to serve on the board. He became eventually the board president, and under his leadership, Proviso gained national attention as Proviso Math and Science Academy. He's a member of the Illinois House of Representatives since 2013, and today we're going to have a conversation on politics.
NDIGO Studio, NDIGO Studio, NDIGO Studio.
Welcome, Mr. Speaker of the House.
I finally made it.
You finally made it.
I'm sitting with Hermine
You're
Hartman.
sitting, hey, we are together. All right, now I want to start off with something that people don't know, and that is before politics, there was media. Tell me about WGN.
Yeah, that was definitely a different time in my life. I was actually the weekend assignment editor at WGN TV. I got to work with Bob Jordan and Jackie Bang and Joni Lum and a whole host of folks that people know across the country. But I was the weekend assignment editor, sending them to their news stories.
You have fun?
I loved it. But I also studied law during the day, working on that desk and going to law school that night.
Okay, so that was the job to get through law school.
That's right.
Let's talk about how you got into politics. You entered politics really through education.
I still have a passion for education, and I ran for my local school board. I didn't realize that was politics, though. I thought it was just getting involved in your community.
You thought it was education?
I thought it was about education.
Okay. And then you became the board president.
I was the board chair. I was on the board for 12 years. My first 2 years, I was the board vice president, right when I got elected. And then I became president for the last 10 years.
Now you go to the House and you pushed elected school board to Chicago. Tell me about that and why you think it's so important.
Well, you know, what most folks didn't realize was that the city of Chicago was the only community in the entire state that didn't elect its school board. And coming from an elected school board, I know the power, the voice that the community has and what the school board does on a monthly basis. And so that was easy policy to get behind, you know, to put the people of Chicago in charge of their school district. The mayor of Chicago has historically appointed the school board and basically dictated everything that happens at the school board. Now the people will get to run their school board.
So it's a combination now. The mayor appoints, and we have, 10 elected?
Well, under the current law, the mayor appoints 7.
Okay.
But under the new law that takes effect after the November 2024 election, there will be half of the board will be appointed by the mayor, half will be elected in November of 24. In 2 more years, the other half that were appointed by the mayor,
Total.
they come up for election, and then the whole board in perpetuity will be a fully elected school board.
You think
So it's being phased in.
So will we be better off with an elected school board than with just the mayoral appointment?
I think when you have democracy involved, when more people have a say in what goes on, you will be better off. Will it be more expensive? Elections cost money. But I think we will be better off because the people will have a say every 2 years in who's on that school board.
So the elections will be every 2 years?
Half of that board will come up for election every 2 years.
Wow.
Just like it does in the rest of the state.
Okay. I know education is a passion and a real interest for you. What do you think about AI in the classroom?
You know, that's still an evolving technology. You know, the verdict is really still out. I don't think we can avoid it. So in the House, we have several members who are tracking it. They're passionate about it. They want to make sure we get the technology right. We want to make sure we protect people's privacy because what we're seeing already with entertainers and the fake images and the fake commercials and fake voices that are out there. We have to make sure there's some proper regulation around it and that the technology is used properly.
This is what makes me nervous. Kids will be able to write term papers, but will they be able to write? Kids will be able to quote Shakespeare, but will they know Shakespeare? I'm a little nervous. I'm beginning to use it, but I use it for maybe an emphasis, maybe for a historical reference or something.
Change is always going to come.
Yeah.
It's how we adapt to that change that's important. You know, people said, are kids going to still know how to do math when they invented the calculator? Mm-hmm. And teachers had to adapt in how they taught lessons. You know, then came the iPhone, and then came these Apple Watches and all that stuff that, you know, you have to be concerned whether or not cheating is going to take place in the classroom. Mm-hmm. They've been able to adapt. People will adapt.
They'll adapt.
And that's why I think it's important that we study and get it right.
At ComEd, we understand a little help can really make someone's day. That's why we provide financial assistance and billing options to help you pay and manage your electric bill. Use the ComEd Smart Assistance Manager to discover bill assistance and savings options designed with you in mind.
The future of a community will always depend on the health of its newest members. That's why Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois is launching its new Special Beginnings program, elevating maternal health care to new levels, including advanced technologies, tools, and personal advocacy teams, ensuring new moms access to the right care at the right time. With each promising newborn, the promise of a brighter future also needs to be delivered. Fortunately, at Blue Cross, being there from the beginning will always be our reason for being.
That's the sound of the ComEd Energy Efficiency Program, saving you up to $500 on your energy bills, with rebates and discounts on energy-efficient products. So you can enjoy coming back to a home full of savings. Visit ComEd.com/home savings.
What's up, everybody? This is Curtis Blow inviting you to the Hip Hop Nutcracker, a holiday mashup for the whole family.
Playing at the CIBC Theater December 10th to the 15th. Get tickets at BroadwayInChicago.com.
The future of a community will always depend on the health of its newest members. That's why Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois is launching its new Special Beginnings program, elevating maternal health care to new levels, including advanced technologies, tools, and personal advocacy teams, ensuring new moms access to the right care at the right time. With each promising newborn, the promise of a brighter future also needs to be delivered. Fortunately, at Blue Cross, being there from the beginning will always be our reason for being.
Just a trim.
Yeah. Yo, it's the Get Covered Illinois Navigator. I need health insurance.
Sure, it's my job to help you find an affordable Get Covered Illinois health plan.
Yeah, but I'm on a lot of medications.
Here, our plans offer essential health benefits like prescription drugs, annual checkups, and you may get financial help. You can call me or visit getcoveredillinois.gov.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Have a seat.
Enroll by December 15th to get coverage starting January 1st.
NDIGO Studio, NDIGO Studio, NDIGO Studio.
During the Democratic National Convention, which was wonderful in Chicago 2024, you had a party to celebrate Black excellence, and you wanted to celebrate the 7 Black speakers of the House. Why was that important to you?
Well, first of all, most people didn't even know we had 7 Black speakers in the country. Obviously, I'm the first Black speaker of the state of Illinois. When I got elected 4 years ago, I was just the 3rd in the country. At the time, it was New York. Speaker Carl Hastie was elected in 2015. In 2019, Adrian Jones in Maryland was elected, and then I got elected in 21. And subsequent to that, we've had speakers elected in the state of Maine, Rachel Talbot Ross, Michigan, Speaker Joe Tate, Pennsylvania, Speaker Joanna McClinton. And most recently this year, we saw my alpha brother, Don Scott, elected in the state of Virginia. all firsts in our state's history.
All first. So this is historic, all 7.
This is historic. 7 at one time is a historic number.
So we got a chance to interview some of them, and we're going to show what they told us.
Okay. First question for you. As a 3-time Black history maker and Speaker of the House, what legacy do you aim to make for young politicians following behind you?
So the first and foremost priority is, like our Vice President has said, to be the first does not mean you'll be the last. I lead in such a way that many women will follow me. I said if 141 men preceded me as Speaker, it shouldn't seem odd that 141 women follow me as Speaker in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
With this political landscape continuing to evolve, especially with the younger generations becoming more vocal and pronounced with their political opinions, how do you plan to engage and address the concerns of young voters in Michigan?
You have to meet them where they are. I think that's going to be the most important thing. I think, how are you able to bring young people into the fold and into government, into engagement? So how do you get them out to vote? How do you get them to come and advocate for different pieces of legislation? And really frankly, get them to have ownership, because eventually they're going to take over.
So you're the first Black speaker in Virginia's history. Could Project 2025 be a reality in Virginia?
Well, I look at Project 2025 as like the same as Project 1619 when this country was started, trying to bring in people to hurt people and take us backwards. And everything that they say in there is their playbook to hurt people. Everything that they say is a playbook to hurt folks economically, hurt people, bully people, hurt LGBT communities, set people of color backwards. They want to take us in a way that we don't need to go forward. And I think at the end of the day, they know in Project 2025 that if they can attack, their biggest thing that they attacked was education and public education.
As the highest ranking African American politician in Maine, as well as the first African American Speaker of the House for the state of Maine, how has your identity shaped your approach to leadership in the Speaker of the House?
Well, I get it honestly. I come from a family that's always been involved in moving issues of civil rights and human rights forward. I follow in the footsteps of my father, and 45 years before I was elected to office, my father was the very first African American ever elected to state office in 1972. So I grew up with a father who worked 2 jobs and served in the Maine State Legislature in order to make sure that me and my sisters knew that public service was a profession and that we should always try to give back. So my identity comes from a legacy of public service and knowing that Black people in Maine, the whitest state in the country, had something to give and were valued.
Let's talk about Speaker of the House. What are the duties of the Speaker of the House?
You know, the Speaker of the House, you're the CEO. You are the person that runs the House.
You're the CEO of the House.
You are the Chief Executive Officer of the House of Representatives.
What do those duties entail?
Well, they are laid out in the state constitution. You are a constitutional officer. You are elected by the members of the body to be the CEO of the chamber. You're in charge of setting the calendar. You're in charge of making appointments to all committees. You're in charge of determining what bills get heard or not get heard. You're in charge of making sure the governor is invited to present a budget to the General Assembly. The governor is required to present a budget to the General Assembly, and he has to come do it in the House.
So the balancing of the budget, is that for the governor or is that for the speaker?
Well, it's for the legislature.
Okay.
And
the entire body.
The entire body. The governor presents his budget to the legislature in the House at the invitation of the speaker. That's in the Constitution. He has to do it by a certain date in February. And then after he presents his budget, the legislature is the one that appropriates a budget. And so before we adjourn, typically by the end of May, the legislature will pass a budget to the governor for his signature.
So if there's something in the budget that you question, you do it at the time when the governor presents?
Absolutely.
So this is about the money.
Well, it's about helping people.
Okay.
You know, and we need money to help people. And our communities have been historically disadvantaged for a long time. And now we're not just at the table, we're at the head of the table. And so I want to make sure in a very unapologetic and very intentional way that we make sure our communities get what they deserve.
You told me off camera your daughter told you something. Tell me what your daughter told you.
My daughter told me she's going to be the Speaker of the House.
At ComEd, we understand a little help can really make someone's day. That's why we provide financial assistance and billing options to help you pay and manage your electric bill. Use the ComEd Smart Assistance Manager to discover bill assistance and savings options designed with you in mind.
The future of a community will always depend on the health of its newest members. That's why Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois is launching its new Special Beginnings program, elevating maternal health care to new levels, including advanced technologies, tools, and personal advocacy teams, ensuring new moms access to the right care at the right time. With each promising newborn, the promise of a brighter future also needs to be delivered. Fortunately, at Blue Cross, being there from the beginning will always be our reason for being.
That's the sound of the ComEd Energy Efficiency Program, saving you up to $500 on your energy bills, with rebates and discounts on energy-efficient products. So you can enjoy coming back to a home full of savings. Visit ComEd.com/home savings.
What's up, everybody? This is Curtis Blow, inviting you to the Hip Hop Nutcracker, a holiday mashup for the whole family.
Playing at the CIBC Theater December 10th to the 15th. Get tickets at BroadwayInChicago.com.
The future of a community will always depend on the health of its newest members. That's why Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois is launching its new Special Beginnings program, elevating maternal health care to new levels, including advanced technologies, tools, and personal advocacy teams, ensuring new moms access to the right care at the right time. With each promising newborn, the promise of a brighter future also needs to be delivered. Fortunately, at Blue Cross, being there from the beginning will always be our reason for being.
What's up, everybody? This is Curtis Blow, inviting you to the Hip Hop Nutcracker, a holiday mashup for the whole family.
Playing at the CIBC Theater December 10th to the 15th. Get tickets at BroadwayInChicago.com.
NDIGO Studio, NDIGO Studio, NDIGO Studio.
In politics, we've seen movements. We've seen civil rights movement, we've seen labor movement, we've seen women movements. Tell me how movements influence politics. What's the significance of the role?
If you can create a movement, you can create some real policy. You can make history.
How do we get young people? That's the lowest voting population that we've seen. No vote, don't vote, just disregard politics. Don't trust the political system. What do we do about that? How do we encourage young people to get involved in the political process?
I think we start by going to them, not talking at them, but listening to them, getting them involved in the process. You know, people will doubt what you say, but they're going to believe what you do. And young people are the first ones that's going to doubt what you say, but believe what you do. And so we have to listen to them first and then show them through our actions that what they're telling us really matters and get them involved in that. You know, what I have done in my role as committeeman out in Proviso Township is tapped into young folks in the high school and gotten them involved and let them know that they're a critical part of this process.
In politics, as your first term as Speaker, you passed the assault weapon ban. Tell me about that and what's that impact through legislation?
You know, the assault weapons ban was something very personal to me. And I will tell you, as a kid growing up in Chicago, My family is just like many families that was impacted by gun violence. My parents had 3 boys. It was a family of 5, and my mom had a sister, my Aunt Joyce, had 3 girls. And one night, my aunt was killed in front of our church. 40 years ago now, and that murder has never been solved. But my parents took my cousins in. They were little girls at the time, and raised them as daughters. They're my sisters.
They became your sisters.
Yeah. So we were like the Black Brady Bunch, 3 boys, 3 girls. But it all happened because of gun violence. My dad, a year or so later, his job moved to one of those workers' right to work states, because they didn't want unions, and we didn't want to move. So my dad all of a sudden had to go work in 2 jobs to make what he was making at one union job before it left the state. And so a lot of what happened because of my aunt's murder helped shape who I am today, and particularly around assault weapons. Those are things that are not needed on our streets.
Your career has been fast-tracked. You've risen to leadership. You go entry and then leader. You don't do middle steps at all. In your political career, and now you are Speaker of the House, what legislation would you like to see that you would bring forth maybe in this season?
I want to make sure our community always understands how important the budget is. Illinois, in May of 24, we passed a $50 billion budget. That's the biggest budget we've ever passed in state history. They don't get smaller, they get bigger. And we have to make sure that people understand that's a moral document. And that's the biggest thing that we do every year as a legislature, is appropriate dollars that go all over the state, that impact our schools, that impact our local communities directly through funding at the municipalities, through libraries. That's the most important thing we do. And a lot of effort goes into that. And so I take great pride in the fact that we've presented balanced budgets since I've been Speaker that continue to invest in communities all over the state, but particularly Black communities.
Any particular things that you want to see in terms of the growth and the equity investment, if you will, in black communities? And I'm thinking particularly of small businesses doing business with the state. Like you just said, biggest budget ever, $50 billion. And I wonder how many Black contractors, professional as well as professional services, what do they do? What's the measure? What's the equity? Does it exist?
Well, we want to make sure, we are funding our schools better, K through 12, because we know education is at the forefront of everything. We want to make sure that our kids have access to go to college if they want that opportunity. So the dollars we put in the budget that help low-income kids get into college is very important. Having job opportunities when they get out of college is very important, or if they don't even go to college, opportunities to get into the trades and things of that nature. All of those things are dollars we're putting into the budget, but we also have to create the job opportunities. We have to make sure small businesses have dollars to thrive. We've created small business programs, with the Back to Business program, the Build Business program that we built through DCEO. These are things that we've invested in the last 4 years that have helped small businesses at record levels in the state, but particularly Black business. We've also created other initiatives like child care programs that allow, single moms to go to work and do things that they weren't able to do because child care is a real issue. For the first time in this year's budget, we put a $50 million child tax credit into the budget. That's going to help low-income families, particularly folks from our neighborhoods.
So now let me ask you a tough question. We have seen a madman run for president. We have seen what we thought we would never see in our country at this time. Is there anything that we can do with legislation to avoid such extremities in a politician?
In America, a country with freedom of speech and freedom of association and the right to run for office, I think it's extremely hard to ban someone from running for office.
Couldn't we do something legislatively with who is eligible to run? President of the United States, 35 years old, and citizenship. Those are qualifications.
I think one that folks are talking about that I would be interested in listening more to is maybe the age, in terms of how old you can be.
Older or younger?
Yeah. Well, 35 I think is a good age,
That's the age
to start.
Okay.
But 80 might be a little too old to
you
run.
want to put a retirement age.
A retirement age, a mandatory retirement age.
Mandatory. Okay,
Yeah.
just like you have on a job, right?
Correct.
What would you tell a budding young politician looking at this show? That 10-year-old daughter who wants to go into politics. What would you really tell her?
Well, the 10-year-old, I would tell him, you can be anything you want to be. Look at me. If you believe it, you can achieve it. And my daughter believes she can be Speaker of the House, and I tell her, go for it. 'Cause
Yes, you can.
She sees it. She can
She
achieve it.
sees it, yeah.
The adult, I would tell them, know your why. What's your passion? Why do you wake up in the morning? Why do you want to leave the house every day? Why do you want to spend a lot of time away from your family? If you know the answer to that question, you're going to love what you do.
Let's say the world is yours. You can do anything you want politically. Name 3 things you would do.
I would end homelessness.
Yes.
I would end poverty, and I would the third thing I would want to do is anyone and everyone who wants to get one trip to Disney World.
Everybody should go to Disney World.
It's the happiest place on earth. You got to go to Disney World.
What's about Disney World?
It's about creating that mindset where people are happy.
So what's your favorite thing at Disney World?
Just being there.
Just being there.
Yeah. It's the happiest place on earth.
How many times you been to Disney World?
Oh, I've been
That
3
you
times.
took your kids, that was an excuse. Get to Disney World.
I've been there 3 times, twice with my kids, once without them.
I agree with you. All right, now we've been talking to the Speaker of the House, understanding how you get to be the Speaker of the House and what the Speaker of the House does. And the Speaker of the House wants to go to Disney World, and everybody should go to Disney World. If he had his druthers, that's the big thing that he would do. I think that's just absolutely marvelous. That's wonderful.
You know what I did the day Donald Trump was getting inaugurated to be president?
You went to Disney World?
I went to Disney
That
World.
was a good thing. That was high five. That was a good thing to do. That was a good place to be. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for being with us and sharing your insight, your career, and your passion.
My pleasure. Honor was mine.
Thank you.
NDIGO Studio.